What is going on, everybody? We are on a historic night tonight. Not only was it NXT Super Tuesday live from Full Sail University, but for the first time in Agree to Disagree HUD radio history, we have two live streams going at the same time. You can catch the live reaction of the hockey game in a few pages down on the main page here. But we are here for a very special episode of In This Very Ring, where history really hasn't been made. There was a fatal 4-way, 60-minute Iron Man match tonight on NXT Super Tuesday, headlined by former NXT champions. The longest reigning champion, Adam Cole, the Prince, Finn Balor, Johnny wrestling himself, Johnny Gargano, and the man that's never been beaten, Tommaso Ciampa. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your boy Ritz. Joining me tonight is the FWO OG himself, Mr. Pete Evans. A little bit later, we should see Chrome, but he's finishing up that Flyers reaction show. We are brought to you by our doc, Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Check him out on the web at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. They have 3 locations at Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. Also, Ambug Services, Michael Ambrose and his team are the gutter and deck restoration experts of South Jersey. Give them a call at 856-879-5530. Tonight's poll question brought to you by QB54. Tonight was good booking. For those of you that don't know what that means, tonight at the end of the Iron Man match, it was 90 seconds left. Tommaso Ciampa had it won. He hit an air raid on Johnny Gargano, but off the top rope came Finn Balor with a coup de grace. Balor takes the pin. 1, 2, 3. Balor's up 2-1-1. 2-1-1-1. That's a lot to think about. But then with 12 seconds remaining, Adam Cole hits a last shot on Finn Balor. Now it's 2-2-1-1, and time is up. It was a split-second decision. It was, at first I thought, oh, he didn't get it. But NXT GM William Regal shows up and announces that next week on NXT Super Tuesday 2, for the first time ever one-on-one, it'll be Adam Cole versus Finn Balor for the still vacated NXT Championship. Mr. Evans, I'm going to start with you. Was tonight a good booking decision?
No. No, and I believe Adam Cole and Finn Balor wrestled before.
It sounded good. I was on a roll.
I know you're feeling it. I don't want to I want to steal your thunder, but no. I mean, tonight the match itself was great. I thought the NXT overall was a decent show. Outside of the Bronson Reed and Timothy Thatcher match, I just have no love for Timothy Thatcher. Not at this point. They started off hot, had those 4, and the work rate to be able to go the way that they went. I would have actually liked it if it was more falls, maybe a couple schoolboys, maybe a couple roll-ups, things of that nature, just to kind of get some sneaky wins. I felt like they did a good job of coordinating the match and producing the match to get everybody their spots. Obviously, Cole winning with the Panama Sunrise, I believe, on Gargano. I'd missed Finn Balor's fall, though, because I was checking in with the hockey game, Flyers-Islanders game 5 tonight. And
Balor was a coup de grace at 34:29 left.
Who did he pin?
I didn't write that down.
Okay. But I mean, to the way that they did it with the photo finish, the count was fast because it was literally when he covered Balor at the end, there were exactly 3 seconds on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of obviously we don't say the count of 3. Is it true? Is it a true 3-second count? Not necessarily, but it's a little fast because they knew they had to get it in. You set it up for Balor versus Cole next week. I don't think you would have hurt having a actual winner tonight. And I still think Balor's going. I still think they're going to book Balor. I mean, I think it's set up for Balor to win to get his this to be his third reign as NXT champion.
No, everybody in that ring was a one-time champion.
Okay, so the only two-time champion is Shinsuke and Samoa Joe.
Shinsuke and Samoa Joe, correct.
That's it. Okay. So in his second reign, but it sets up perfectly for. We talked about this before. Right when Karrion Kross won, I said I would love to see his first program be with Finn. Now it's going to be the opposite way around, but ultimately you may get the Demon versus Cross if they keep dipping into the whole Scarlet is a mage, Scarlet is a witch, she's a conjurer, she's making contracts blow up in people's faces, hot stuff Eddie Gilbert, Memphis wrestling back in the 80s type style. So I love the match. I think unless they're undecided who they want to go with at this point, because this show was actually, I think, was taped last week, if I'm not mistaken.
I had heard a rumor that it was.
Right.
Because when I was doing some research after the show was over to try to get the pinfalls and everything like that, I found out that there was a spoiler, and I ignored it, right?
Right.
Obviously, the show was over, but I ignored it.
So I don't know if they know which way they want to go. And if you can shed some light on to the fam, why are we not on Wednesday night tomorrow?
So if I'm correct, it actually, I think, has something to do with sports.
Is it because of the NBA playoffs?
I think it's because of I think I read somewhere where it's based on the NBA playoffs is why we're not on tomorrow night.
Okay.
Because I don't think AEW is on tomorrow night either. I think they're going on Thursday.
Okay.
We got the Godfather chiming in while he's live on the other show saying, yo, this is awesome. 2 shows live on A2D. Ryan Brodo, while he's producing that other show, 2-for-1 A2D special tonight.
Yes.
Matt Milcreck from Ultimate Wrestling Fanatics saying, shit, I didn't watch NXT. I think I have to leave. I think you do.
Nah, you can stay. You can stay.
Chrome saying, Andy giving us a preview of where all the magic happens in the background there. # Ritz Pillow Talk. What magic? Jeff Warner saying
the whole train about to come out the closet.
Dude, if it does, I'm ending the stream right now. That finish was garbage. And did you guys see Impact's ending? No, Jeff. Let us know in the comments what that ending was. And Frank Vespi also chiming in. Sup, guys? Have a good show tonight. Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
So, AEW got a Raw deal last week. They got moved for playoffs. That didn't happen. Okay. All right. I don't know what that means, but okay.
Well, they boycotted on Thursday.
That's right.
They took that little hiatus. So you could originally had AEW on Wednesday night, and they didn't play any games. But I mean, was AEW live? Did they go live last week? Are they filming live? Or are they still?
I think they're still filming live.
Okay. Then,
no, they're not, because I knew the ending to the Brody Lee Cody match like 2 weeks before it happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so Jeff Warner chimes in. EY is the new champ.
Which champ? They have 2 belts though.
Yeah, they've got like 15 different titles over there for the men.
They have TNA, which was on Moose, and then they also have the Impact champion, which was Davey.
But Moose dropped it.
Was it Eddie Edwards?
I think EY might have taken it. Hold on. Let's look here.
Let's get some results here.
But Pete, walk us through the street fight. Did you catch that?
Legado del Fantasma versus Breezango and Swerve Scott?
Correct.
Yes, I did catch that from the beginning. Sort of okay. I mean,
Side note,
I don't know.
Eric Young defeated Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, Eddie Edwards. Okay. Yeah, I figured Eddie Edwards had it since Slammiversary, so he was the Impact champ.
Correct.
So now EY is the Impact champ again in his second reign.
Correct.
Okay. Not too bad. What they need to be doing is throwing everything in the world plus ownership of Brock Lesnar because he's no longer under contract.
Yeah, what the heck? Like, if things couldn't have been any crazier, right? Not only did we have Super Tuesday, but news broke earlier today that Brock Lesnar is a free agent. Right? Mauro Ranallo's gone from WWE. So's Renee Young. Brian Daly from the Hockey Happy Hour chiming in. What's up, fellas? Daly and them now have a huge show on Thursday night.
Yes.
Live reacting to Game 6 of the Flyers versus the Islanders. Make sure you guys check them out Thursday night, whenever the hell they decide to start. But so much is going on in the last 24 hours, really.
Yeah.
But let's kind of stay on track here. Let's get back into that street fight.
Right.
That was fantastic.
It was fantastic. We had a run-in from Imperium outside of Walter. Then the forklift spot. It was some crazy spots, table spots.
That forklift spot came out of nowhere.
Nowhere. No. It came out of nowhere. I was like, where's the camera angle going? We see Fandango, we see Swerve Scott. And they take out everybody in the ring. Then after that, then we get the jump outside from Breezango again when they do the salute, jump off. Then we get I don't know what Swerve's finisher is called, but
so I'm not very familiar with Swerve Scott's in-ring work. This was probably the first live thing I've watched of his that I can remember. That finisher, oh my God, is beautiful.
Yes.
I don't know what it's called, but I want more of it.
Yes.
And I want it today.
Now, he was doing somewhat of not a last shot, not a shiniest wizard, but it would almost be like a sit down, and he would jump, and it would be almost like it would be a delayed kick to the back of the neck, to the back of the head region. So he was doing that towards the late end of 2019, and he started with this finisher. The only thing with this finisher, though, while it looks good, is it looks great on smaller guys. So I'm not sure where we're going to go, but I can't see him.
To the poll, I disagree, I think.
No, that's good. That's good that you disagree, because I disagree.
I'm in the, and we're gonna kind of wait for Chrome to get here to really dive deep into the poll. But I don't know. I'm really torn. I wanted a champion so badly tonight. I mean, I have here's how torn I was, and I predicted the future. So my In This Very Ring shirt and my Lazy Booking shirt are both in the laundry downstairs. So I was like, all right, I need a wrestling shirt for tonight. I need something. And I picked out my Undisputed Era shirt and my Bulletproof Balor shirt. So before it even started, I knew what was happening apparently.
And that's what we kind of now. I thought it would either be Balor or Ciampa as going over tonight. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are and what Chrome's thoughts would be when he does join. So ultimately, hold up. So we have Swerve Scott going over.
Correct.
We just kind of run that down. Yeah, Swerve Scott going over. I believe the next match was Candice LeRae versus Casey Canizaro.
Yes, and I'm a huge. So first of all, with Swerve Scott going over, that's huge because he pins the cruiserweight champion.
Right.
And to oh shit, his name just blanked. Who's a cruiserweight champion right now?
Santos Escobar.
Escobar, yes. To pin Escobar, and Escobar, what he's doing with this title in Swerve Scott, they're making it more relevant again. Right? There was a point where that kind of fell off into obscurity. And so they're doing great things over there with that storyline and with the whole Phantasm and all that other stuff. So and then with Imperium coming out, that continues Breezango's storyline. So everybody came out of this with something to do moving forward. Right. We know that Imperium's going to want those tag titles. We could see the other two chuckleheads from Escobar's group go after the tag titles as well.
What is
not important at this point?
You got the one with DJZ and Impact.
Sure.
Cool. It's going to be a three-way for
absolutely.
Breezango, Imperium, and Legado
those two chuckleheads.
Yes.
And then you get to Candice LeRae. Well, first off, you have that Candice LeRae, Raymond Rivera chiming in. I kind of knew it would be a draw Finn versus Cole next week. Absolutely, Raymond. There were you could smell it. Ralph, take notes on how to make your bed every morning before I leave, baby. Every morning. You could smell that this was going to end. The last 5 minutes, you could watch the last 5 minutes and get the whole match.
Yeah.
Right. But like I said, we'll get to that in a moment when Chrome gets here. This Casey Catanzaro, Tegan Knox, not Casey Catanzaro, Candice LeRae, Tegan Knox storyline that they're doing with the Gargano way and all this other stuff. I love it. I love that. I love that promo that Casey cut. Even though the crowd kind of drowns Casey. I mean, damn it, why do I keep saying that? Well, I know why I keep saying that.
You know why you're saying it.
Yeah, right. Drowns Candice out in this. We can see that this is going to progress. Tegan's going to show up at the Gargano house and go through this stuff. And you know, we could see a change in Tegan. Maybe she does start following the Gargano way, because think about it, though.
Right.
The Iconics are gone. You have Nia and Shayna with the titles. Yep. We know that Liv and Ruby get a shot. Let's say Liv and Ruby beat them, which I think they might. I think they might.
Team Hell No, females. I'm telling you, that's what they see with Nia and Shayna. That's what they see. You can tell by the way they look at each other in the off ball.
Even if they don't, right? You need to start putting new tag teams together.
Yes.
And Tegan and Candice have that story and that history.
Even if they go that way, if they go where they pair them up and they create a tag team, I'm good with that. But also, even if they keep it and Tegan stays face and Candice stays heel, I like the fact that you're bringing attention to a woman's story. Like, if you think about it right now, there are progressive storylines. What the stories that they're trying to progress outside of Swerve Scott and Santos Escobar, they're progressing female-based storylines. We're getting a cage match next week. Mercedes Martinez versus Rhea Ripley.
Who's going to tear the house down.
Right. Now you get this second week in a row. For last week we got Tegan's point of view. This week you get Candice's point of view. So they're actually adding, not officially, not yet, Brian Daly.
It's coming.
We've been waiting since 2016.
It's 15 years in the making, but it's coming. They broke up, Brian. They broke up last night on Raw. We'll do a quick Raw rundown later.
We'll do a quick Raw recap later. So, but then now you're getting storylines that are progressing that mean something, that don't have to do and centered around the NXT Women's title. So you're creating relevancy to these programs non-title, so that way you may get to a point where if Tegan shows up at the Gargano house and trashes Candice, the Candice gets her back the next week, you may actually see an episode of NXT end with a Candice LeRae Tegan Knox grudge match. No one with it. That can close out of NXT.
Yeah, it could.
Obviously not next week, but if you think about really next week, there's two main events. Obviously, you have Cole versus Balor for the title, but strongly enough, you have a steel cage match between Rhea and Mercedes. You could easily, if that Cole Balor match wasn't for a vacant NXT title, you could easily switch those two and have the steel cage match close out the show.
Well, because Rhea, former women's champion,
yep,
right? She wrestled on WrestleMania, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. She's been fantastic in the ring, outside of the ring, all her promos, everything like that. She arguably was a star of Survivor Series weekend. But then you have Mercedes Martinez, who all your diehard wrestling fans love to death. Like the pop she got at the Mae Young Classic the year she was in it. The pop she got on the internet when she showed up. Right? Because obviously no fans were around. But that internet pop was huge. Mm-hmm. Those are two women that can go in the ring and tear the house down. They're both tall women too.
Yeah.
You know, it's something different that you don't see. You don't look at it. You got Mercedes, Rhea, and Raquel, three tall, athletic women that move and can work.
Yes.
Right. So this is not the end of that story either.
No.
I'm a huge Tegan Knox fan. Like, I fell in love with her story following the Mae Young Classics both those years, her comeback story. And then watching that special they had on her, that like 5-part special or whatever it was, I fell in love with her overall. Ladies and gentlemen, fresh off the Flyers victory, we have the one and only heel Chrome Michael Chromiak joining us live from the beach.
Backyard. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm honored to be here, and I am even more honored to finally see where the magic happens for Mr. Ritz over his right shoulder there. That's
What magic?
Oh, guys,
Greg, no, I didn't fire Butters. He's doing this thing called work. Try it sometime.
Boys, I just finished the end of NXT. I had to, you know, it was a lot going on Flyers wise. So
There's a lot going on. Little overtime action.
Yeah. So appreciate your guys' patience. But I have to tell you, I don't know. I didn't hear your reaction to the main event.
We kind of waited for you. We started breaking down the card. Okay. We didn't go into our poll question or anything like that. We waited for you.
All right. So I'll wait then. I'll let you lead that conversation.
So we're kind of there because we were just talking about the Candice LeRae and Tegan Knox and their advancement.
Yeah, and I was just saying how I'm a huge fan of Tegan.
Yes, and how he loves the story of the 5-part. I mean, I get it. She
doesn't do it.
It wouldn't hurt her to go with the Gargano way.
Yeah,
just to switch it up somewhat somehow.
Right, and get that rub for both of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But once you start doing that, now you have an abundance of heels on NXT that are women.
That's true.
So now you have to start elevating some of Casey Catanzaro can't just be an enhancement talent at that point. You know what I mean? Like she has to start getting some sneaky wins somewhere.
Yep.
So that's it. So if they go that route, then another change has to come. But just the advancement of the storylines, we talk about Rhea and Mercedes doing a steel cage match next week. Andy just talked about Rhea, Mercedes, and Raquel, the size of these women. We've never had that, and we really never even had that on the main roster all in one spot. So I'm interested to see where we went there. But after we get the promo after Candice beats Casey Catanzaro, she cuts the promo. Then we set up what could be, as Andy said, Tegan showing up at the Gargano house. Then from there we have Bronson Reed versus Timothy Thatcher.
Moving on, I'm a Bronson Reed fan after the latter match, but Timothy Thatcher is just Timothy Thatcher.
Vanilla.
Yeah. Very vanilla. And then we got the main event and great work rate, good finishes. Everybody got the spots in. Didn't feel like there was really any dull moments. They kind of worked through all the commercial breaks. But as I said before we came on, not before we came on, but as soon as we came on, the non-finish.
I hate it.
I'm not a fan.
So, go ahead, Chrome. Go ahead. I've been talking for the last.
I mean, again, I didn't watch the whole match, but I can imagine, you know, from what I saw, and then kind of catching I watched the last like 10 minutes before I hopped on with you guys.
Which is really all you needed.
Yeah. I have to say.
Thank you, Tom.
WWE really these firsts, right? This is a first, and I understand what they're trying to get to. But that being said,
man, I'm getting all the love from the boss tonight. I love this.
I don't. To invest 60 minutes into this, when we've seen every other one has an overtime when it ends. To get your viewers to invest 60 minutes in this, it was a 60-minute enhanced. I can't think now because my brain's fried from the hockey game. How many times do we talk about, you know, this is a match to bridge to the next match? You know what I mean? To use a 60-minute match, a historical 60-minute match with 4 incredible talents. You know, I've heard the Mount Rushmore of NXT talents, and I you know, it's hard to debate that with those 4 guys. To use that to simply set up a one-on-one match for next week leaves a really bad taste in my mouth, and I will, even knowing the end, go back just to make sure that I catch the whole thing, watch the entire 60-minute match. But I can imagine being a person tonight expecting so much more from that, and I have an issue. We've seen them overbook things before. We watched them do the women's Money in the Bank match, the very first women's Money in the Bank match, and how does the woman win with the help of a man? And that left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yep.
That we had
James Ellsworth.
Ellsworth.
Is Ellsworth really a man though?
Oh, we're not having that discussion. We're not going down that rabbit hole.
Well, I mean, you might we could question that, but if you look into the underage girl DMs and Snapchats that they received, apparently he's got all the man parts. So, but so I guess we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and that's an issue for me, though, a major issue for me with the way that was done, and I just think it was unnecessary. You didn't need to do that.
No, so Tom just chimed in and said, "Teach me." He's listening. So Tom, imagine as if it's you go through a bullpen, and it's bottom of the 10th, bottom of the 11th, bottom of the 12th, comes out bottom of the 16th inning. The next team that scored wins. And then they say postpone the game. We're going to do a doubleheader tomorrow and start from scratch.
No. Not even tomorrow. What we're going to do?
Postpone it till next week.
We're going to wait a week.
We're going to wait a week until Tuesday, and we're just going to have.
We're going to let everybody rest up.
Right.
We're going to just do it again next reset. So it's just
terrible.
That's what I was saying. I don't think that they know what direction they want to go, and I think,
but why
maybe
it's a ratings grab.
Know.
And I think it's
exactly.
I give them the benefit of the doubt on a lot of things, guys. Mm-hmm. I really do. But my patience is wearing thin, and you guys know that with a lot of things lately. Mm-hmm. And to me, I don't think it was a time to pull a move like this. To me, it's clearly just a ratings grab, and you pull the wool over your fan base and the eyes over your fan base, and I don't like that at all.
But so. Here's my issue with it, right? And I think ultimately I'm going to end up disagreeing. When we made the poll question right before we came on the air, I was kind of on the fence about it. I didn't know if I agreed. Right. I didn't know if I disagreed with it.
What
I was still kind of processing.
Question?
Tonight's finish was good booking.
Well, I totally disagree with that.
But I wasn't 100% sure. I was still processing everything because as soon as this ended, I switched and listened to y'all on the Flyers game. So I never really processed it. And so processing it all, right? So you take four guys who you kind of have story with, you kind of don't have story with, right? And if you're going to say, all right, we're going to go to a non-finish tonight, and what's the next move that we do? To pick Balor and Adam Cole, while yes, I'm a fan of both, right? I'm a fan of both of their work. I'm a fan of all of their works, right? And to see the match, I'm excited for the match, right? Because I think those two will put on a good match. Let's not take anything away from it.
Of course.
But you have a story with Adam Cole as the longest reigning NXT champion and Finn Balor doing fuck all for the last couple of months in NXT. Yeah. What? Or you have the story of Adam Cole, the longest reigning NXT champion, and Tommaso Ciampa, who never lost a title.
Yeah.
Just
you know what I wanted to make real quick? This is an even better comparison, Pete. For Tom out there, he can definitely relate to this. 2008 World Series. The clinching game gets delayed, right? Imagine the game gets delayed, but has nothing to do with rain. They just are like, you know what, guys? We're just going to wait to crown a champion.
We're tired. We'll see you later.
We're going to wait to crown the World Series champion. So, hey, come back Tuesday next week, and we'll play the end of the game.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Not even just like a regular base, like a championship game, a historical game. Because what the match was tonight, guys, was history.
It was the first time ever.
For fatal four-way Iron Man match, which for the casual viewers such as Tom out there, is these guys wrestle for 60 minutes, most decisions, pinfalls, submissions, whatever. Person with the most by the end of 60 minutes wins the match or title or whatever's on the line. It was historical to have talent at this level, that much talent in one match.
Right.
This is big money ticket right here. This is like the World Series game, and it's for the championship, like the World Series. And imagine they're just like, you know what? We're going to stop here at the 7th inning. We're going to play the other 2 innings next Tuesday. So tune in, guys. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Well, and like here's the moment, and I knew Crone what you were doing, and Pete, I figured you were watching the game too. I didn't know where everybody was at, so I didn't message anybody. But at the moment where we're 25 minutes in, and there's still no decision. Right now, obviously, right after that, you get Balor getting the first pinfall. But you got 4 guys in the ring wrestling for an hour, and you're going to try to sell me on the fact that I'm not going to get a decision until 25 minutes in. Yeah. I mean, time code this thing, right? Because I did, because that's what I do. I'm stat guy.
The first
Ritz.
pinfall was 34-29 in or something like that?
34-29 left in the match. Then Gargano at 26-38 left in the match. Cole with 24-40. Ciampa at 22-43. And then we've got shit until Balor gets the pinfall with 15 seconds left. And Cole scores a pinfall, a fast count pinfall with no time left.
He covered him at 3 seconds exactly.
Right. Now, I wonder if Balor went dead weight.
In fairness, it may have been fast count in terms of
what we're used to
counting, but it was an actual 3-second pinfall.
Yeah. Right. Now, watching it back in Chrome, because you actually watched it, so you can weigh in. Does it look like Adam's struggling to get him over? Is that a work, or is that Balor just saying, "Oh fuck, I'm supposed to turn"?
I was actually trying to figure that out. I don't know. Maybe he didn't realize. Maybe he didn't realize there was that less of time left, and Cole might have been like, "Turn the fuck over." But I think it was part of a work. I think it was part of a work, but I don't know that they really realized the window was that tight. Either way, I mean,
because here's
it was
how
well
I
done for what they were doing. I
got to give credit to Vic and Wade Barrett, right, who sell the hell out of it at the end because they're like
Barrett is awesome, guys.
Barrett's fantastic, and Vic was really good tonight. I mean, he was really good. I guess Beth Phoenix is phoning it in, literally.
Yeah, she's working from home.
So she sounds a little off, but these two being there and everything like that, they sell it phenomenally. Of did he get the pinfall? Did he actually get it? You know, who's the NXT champion? And there was a point where I am standing up and watching it on the TV. I'm like, and Vic goes, "Who's going to be the NXT champion?" I'm going, "Oh, you son of a bitch! Don't title card me now." Right, because William Regal's not in the ring yet, and I don't know what time it is. But I just don't understand what the point is to tarnish your very first ever Fatal 4-Way 60-minute Iron Man match to turn around and tell me, "Hey, we'll see you next week."
That was very WCW-esque. "Hey, we're out of time, fans. We'll see you on Thursday at Thunder."
Yeah. You know, but here's the difference. We're saying we'll see you Thursday on Thunder, right? You could have turned around and dropped it, because if USA wasn't going to play ball and give them overtime,
network,
right? Go straight to the network. If you don't have the network at this point, you are one of the dumbest people on the face of the planet.
Well, it's not even the network. It's not even if you don't have it. Then there's a purpose. Now, hey, let's sell the network to people. You want to see the end of this? Tune over to the network.
Yeah.
You haven't bought it yet? Dude, hurry up. It takes 2 seconds to subscribe to it.
Right. Yeah, because they'll spend 5 minutes clearing the ring, making sure everybody's good, getting William Regal out of there.
Buy yourself some time.
Reset everything, and then go. Do sudden death right there.
I mean, it's pre-recorded. It's not live. So
yeah.
They could have literally just been like, all right, okay, this is where the network is going to come in with it. Boom, we're going to go from there. That was terrible.
See, me, what I guess what pisses me off about the whole situation is the fact of you had the perfect opportunity to make chicken salad out of the chicken situation you were given with Karrion Kross getting hurt. Balor has not done shit, has not held any titles, had any relevancy since he was the first Universal Champion. You get him with pin with 15 seconds left, with Ciampa doing the air raid from the second rope on Gargano, coup de grace, 3 seconds. You can still have Cole hit the last shot, count a little slower, have the 3 count, come down, After it hit 0, Balor's your champ. You can still give me Balor Cole next week because technically Cole was just a tad short, but you go into it with the champion and you
Exactly.
elevate Balor. Out of those 3, ultimately, Balor probably was the coldest one going into the match. You know what I mean? So, and we've talked about this. We said it on NXT TakeOver 30.
It's part of why, to me, Balor made the most sense to come out of this match with the NXT
He still
title.
makes the more. Cole doesn't need it.
Cole doesn't
None
need
of them.
it.
None of them need it right now.
I said it on the In This Very Ring post from a few days ago, right? Everybody, who do you want to see win, or however I worded it, right? Who do you want to see win in the Fatal 4-Way match? And the rousing result was either Ciampa because he never lost it, and I can't argue that one, right? Okay, fine, whatever. He doesn't need it, but he never lost it. That's an argument. Fine, fuck it. Or Balor because he's done nothing.
Yes.
I'm a huge Balor fan. I mean, too sweet all the way around, right? Which I did love that spot, by the way. The too sweet between Cole and Balor. That was fantastic. Yeah, that happened, Chrome. But for him to come back from an injury, and other than winning the Intercontinental Championship, you've done nothing. You came back to NXT and you've done nothing. Yep. Absolutely. You haven't had a feud that stands out in my mind. Yeah. You haven't had, and we're just focusing on NXT right now. You haven't done diddly dick other than wrestle nobodies.
I mean, the argument of, he never lost the title for Ciampa, to me, doesn't hold water here, because if we're going to start pulling out of, the archives here of what guys have done, it took Balor how many years to get a Universal title match after never losing the title?
Yep.
It took him years, 2 years, I believe, to finally get a Universal title match that he lost to Roman, I want to say.
Wasn't he part of the Fatal 4-Way match for the Universal title?
Might have been. Something along those lines. Anyway, I mean, to me, with the way wrestling's booked, that doesn't mean anything to me that a guy never lost the title. It's not real to me. So I don't need that. But to me, Balor just made the most sense. Gargano makes sense to me because we've seen the development. Like, to me, Ciampa doesn't need it because Ciampa's character is currently developing now. We're seeing.
Yes, he's changing.
He's changing. Now he's a little bit of like his heel run before, but there seems to be a little bit of a difference as well. So they're going to build that character back up. Cole doesn't need it. We know, I don't even need to explain why he doesn't need it. At least Gargano now, we've seen the character he is. The character development has been great, and it's been there to where if you want to say, let's put the title on him, let him be a good heel champ for, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, he could have a short run with it. That made sense to me. But the guy who really, I think, I want to say needs it, but really probably could have benefited from this was Finn Balor. And it's a huge missed opportunity. And I hope at least, taking tonight out of the equation, guys, I hope that that's the decision they make next week. And I love Adam Cole. I love Adam Cole.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need it. I think Finn Balor needs it because to me at this point, if we're not going to get a title run from Balor at this point, there's no need to put him back in NXT. I thought they were going to put him back to have these incredible feuds with all these guys, but no, we saw feuds with Damian Priest and the guy from the UK, and which I'm not saying they weren't good matches. But that's not what I expected to see in a return to NXT, guys.
And I will say this, it looked like at one point, but pre-COVID, that it was going to be Balor and Walter, right? Yeah. And everybody was excited for that. And then COVID happened, and Balor even went away himself for a little bit, right? But now we've come back, and we're not addressing anything. If Balor wins, let me phrase that. When Balor wins next week, now you can build, because what's coming in a few months?
I don't know that. I think that Balor's going to. I don't know that Balor's going to win next week.
I think Balor should win next week, though.
I agree, but you change it to when? I'm not ready to make that word change yet.
Yeah, I am.
I'm so, dude. The booking, whether it's the main roster, whether it's the NXT roster, has been so erratic to me. I feel like, you guys know this. They've talked about over history, right? This is what I dislike about wrestling now. And this is a lot. As much as I love Eric Bischoff, I think Eric Bischoff, as many positive contributions he's made, has made a lot of negatives. We talked about the pay-per-view stuff. I don't think you get proper story development. And maybe that's something I'll try to talk to Luke about if he's a current product watcher.
Side note,
which-
Luke
cheap
Bushwhacker on Lazy Booking this Thursday.
That's
For those
right.
of you wondering what the
Bushwhacker
hell he's
Luke will
talking
be
about.
joining us. Bushwhacker Luke will be joining us. That's going to be a lot of fun. But they don't have the time to let stories breathe. Dominic has been in the company in the ring for 9 days at this point. 8 days last night. He had 4 matches against Seth Rollins in a week. Like how much? And I loved the match last night. But how much can you jam that down my throat?
How many weeks in a row have we had Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Andrade?
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. But you know what, Pete? Though, like to kind of round it back, though, they're doing. It's so clearly obvious now that they're doing this week-to-week booking, which I understood when COVID started, because a lot of things changed, and I think you kind of just had to get through. Mm-hmm. We're at the point now where majority of the rosters are back. Hell, we haven't seen Sami Zayn back at this point, and he was a dick about it and got sent home when it first started.
Roman's back.
Roman is back. Like, that's the indicator. You have so much at your disposal. How is it that this many months in now we haven't started to think ahead? Think ahead. Instead of week
the
to
only
week.
thing they've done that with is Carrion, and it backfired because he got fucking hurt.
Let's backtrack.
You can't knock him for that, though.
No, knock him for it. But that was it felt like that was the one thing that they said, okay, we're here, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, go. But it makes me think what we're seeing universe? Now. Yeah, like kind of. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman again. But it seems like it almost makes me wonder if he didn't get hurt, where were they going? Like, who was next? Who was he going? Who were they going to feed him first? That's why I say, like we said, I'm hoping Andy's
probably
right.
Finn Balor.
Exactly.
We said it last week.
We talked about hopefully getting Demon Balor versus Cross.
I think Demon Balor's done. I don't think you're going to get Demon Balor.
But Pete brought up something. We talked about it earlier. Pete talked about it earlier. The whole Scarlet thing being this mage and this, that, and the other thing, and all this voodoo shit she's doing.
Gilbert fireball.
She could bring back the demon, right? Or force the demon out of Balor.
Yep.
I'm a nerd, right? This is the fantasy world I live in. I can say it and it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a reason. I think there's a big reason why they wanted to go back to and I think it's a lot of it is him wanted to go back to the Prince.
Okay.
That's the best work that he's ever done in his career. And if you go back and follow or try to catch some of his work as the Prince prior to WWE, man, I mean, he was a phenomenal heel in NJPW and everywhere else that he's worked. And I think that there's a reason why they're back to referencing that. I think that's where he wants to go.
Right.
So I don't think the Demon works as a heel. And he's not a full face. It only works if he's 100% committed to being a face.
Right. So follow me here, because this is where I think.
Otherwise, it's an airbrush heel fiend ripoff.
Yeah. So Cole's contract was supposed to be up last month. Is that, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Let's find out.
That guy Ritz.
So because I know that was kind of the thought, like they didn't know where he was going, what he was doing in August. To me, right now, Cole is primed for a face run. We kind of saw it with McAfee, right?
Yeah.
When they did the Too Sweet tonight, that was a nod to the Bullet Club. What if in this world, we talked about Balor, right? Balor goes over next week. Ultimately, he takes control of UE. Cole goes on his own. Because we kind of talked about it already. I think the UE, those three guys, while they're all different, they all bring something strong to it. I don't think UE is established enough to where it can't survive not having Cole and supplanting another leader. And you just talked about when he was Prince DeWitt, and
I love all this. I love everything coming out of your mouth right now.
It will be the swerve that nobody would see coming.
Except for you, apparently. I wouldn't have seen it. I wouldn't even thought of that, but you're spot on.
And that gives credence to, we talked about this shit with The Fiend. Just in this day and age in 2020, cookie cutter faces and bad and heels, those lines are blurred. You can have Balor, UE, run over, rough shot NXT, have Cross come back, vigilante hero. Vigilantism is going on in the country, in the real world. Why can't it go on WWE programs?
I hear you. I don't disagree with you.
So I mean, that's just me spitballing and thinking to my head of how you can spice this up different and give somebody something that they really wouldn't see coming.
I mean, I'm a Batman fan, so I love the vigilantism of it all, right?
As do I, and I'm not even a Batman nerd like Andy.
I'm a
nerd, just not on your level. You're a big superhero guy.
I am.
I watched you almost, go ape shit with Leo Rush on talking about the Power Rangers. So
that's such a good clip.
I was never into the Power Rangers. I'm not like that. I'm not deep. But
but hold on, real quick on the Adam Cole thing before we go into it. On an article published 2 months ago, there was speculation that Adam Cole had 6 months left in his contract.
Okay.
But PW Insider reported that it's actually 18 months left on his contract. So there's more time than we thought. And that's kind of the consensus that I'm seeing, is that there's more time on his contract than everybody thought.
Good.
Okay. And that's great, because I think that would...
I didn't know he was born in Lancaster. All right. That
gives him time, because to me, he's outgrown UE. And the McAfee program kind of he was already elevated outside of it, but I think he could survive with his own. And we need something for Balor. I don't know. This is crazy. I just don't want them to do. If they put it back on Cole next week, I'm really going to have a problem.
I don't think he's outgrown UE. I always look at that, and when I look at the greatest factions, it's all established talent leading it. It's Ric Flair, it's Hogan, it's all these guys who were established talent. And none of them were outgrown or too big for the group.
Right.
I have no issue with the fact that, to me, the whole group could turn face. Yeah, right. Andy, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels at different points with DX. I have no issue with that. I could see UE being a face group. But if they want to give us something to make up for what we saw tonight, I'll tell you what, brother. If next week the end game is for UE to turn on Adam Cole and join Finn Balor, then the 60 minutes we saw tonight to get to next week, that is the only way that will make that worth it. I 1,000% will give you that.
Well,
there's no other scenario anyone will ever be able to tell me that would make me feel good about that, aside from what you said.
And face groups don't really work.
No.
Right?
DX worked.
But DX was, and obviously later years, right? But DX at the initial time, they were more of like a tweener kind of group. They were assholes to Sergeant Slaughter and everybody like that, and they were assholes in the ring, but they were over as hell.
Yeah, but that was early. But you look at the run when Triple H took over after Michaels was gone. They were a face. They were faces. They were edgy, but it was a face group.
But edgy face group works. This whole PG, I'm gonna be nice and hug my neighbor bullshit doesn't always work. A face faction doesn't sound entertaining to me.
I mean,
but I think they are TV 14 now.
Yeah, they are.
At least.
I heard rumors we were going back to it.
No, they are.
Oh, we are 100% back to it now.
Those promos that Keith Lee was cutting against Cross.
This is the first thing I've watched live in weeks.
Okay.
Where I've actually
Yeah.
caught the opening title card.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Nah, I like the idea, bro, and I had no problem with it. But if Adam Cole remains the leader of UE, I don't think he's outgrown it. I'll never look at that and say he's outgrown it. I feel like
I guess outgrown it was that's a poor choice of words on my part. I think there's not much more he can do with it.
See, and
Not
that's
him.
one.
and maybe, except for go to the main roster.
But
If they
that's
take
one
the
question.
group as one.
Yeah.
Okay, so two things. Because this whole Adam Cole conversation has been circling around one question that I've had this whole time.
Okay.
What do you do? What do you do if you make Adam Cole champion? What do you do if you take Adam Cole and UE up to the main roster? Where do you go from here with the Adam Cole factor? I can tell you where you go with Finn Balor, right?
Right.
Everybody in their fifth grandmothers can come after Balor and it'll make sense. But Adam Cole was at the top of this division for 400 godforsaken days. 300, whatever.
No, 403.
403 days.
Yeah.
Right? And ran through everybody. Joey has a good point. Could UE be the Shield of NXT? No, but it's a good question to ask.
It is a good question.
It is a good question. Fair.
Right, but he ran through everybody and their fifth grandmother.
Yep.
Some literally, right? There's nothing. There's nobody. We always talk about this. Look at every NXT champion that's come before him.
Yeah.
Right. Every NXT champion, you drop the belt, you move on up, right? Because you've systematically gone through just about everybody that matters.
Yeah, but
to get to the top.
Yeah, but you have to think too that a lot of the landscape has changed, and there are programs that they can recycle in a different light. If he's a face, if you have him run a face run, you can revisit Ciampa as the heel. You can revisit Gargano as the heel. And aside, also let's not forget that Dijakovic is going to be on the main roster now. Keith Lee is now on the main roster. They're poised right now for a replenishment, which is why I think you're seeing Bronson Reed get a push. So I can see
Damian Priest gets a push.
Damian Priest, Mr. That talking about Baron Corbin 2.0.
Mr. Regular Greek yogurt. That's what I call him.
Ew.
I can't give you a name off the top of my head right now. I'd have to really sit back and think. But, aside, they can revisit a couple programs they've already done. And it can have a new flavor to it.
Yeah. I mean, and I also think that being on weekly TV, I mean, not saying Cole's carried it. He carried NXT for his title reign. And I'm interested to see what would happen if Balor had it and it was his, because we don't know how long Cross is going to be out. So either he's just going to pop back up CM Punk style.
That's wild. They haven't mentioned his name, mentioned how long he's
at
out.
all.
That's crazy.
Well, all right. So separated shoulder, right? How long could you be out for a separated shoulder?
It depends. If there's no labrum tears or anything like that. Hell, Jalen Rieger.
Where's Doc Vidal when you need him?
First round pick for the Eagles, wide receiver. Now he's
That's
out
a great
2 to 4 weeks.
drop in, by the way, Andy.
And but he had a separated shoulder, but he has a small labrum tear that doesn't require surgery, but he's out 2 to 4 weeks. We don't know, which makes me think, yes, he needs time, but also makes me think that it's not as long as we think.
But okay, so let's go on that for a second though. Mm-hmm. You're announcing work or not, you're announcing that Drew McIntyre has a hairline jaw fracture or whatever the hell it is. Right? But we're not pulling the title off of him.
How you get kicked in the head and you get a jaw fracture?
Thank you. But we have a separated shoulder where, to your own comment, could be out 2 to 4 weeks. Why are we taking the title off of him if he's going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks? That's where it doesn't make sense to me, right? Because the NXT champion in the past has been off TV for longer. Right? So why are we pulling the title? That's where it tells me, you know what? He needs surgery. He's out. And honestly, I do think I heard Tom say they're getting Vidal on Sunday, I think, for Agree to Disagree. Believe me, I'm going to try to weasel that question in because I want to know, right? If you're having shoulders, you have a separated shoulder and you have to have surgery, how long are you out for?
Yeah.
Right? What's that timeline look like?
Yeah, man. I mean, there could be varying degrees of that too.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
because let's all ultimately say, you brought up a great question. It's more what they do with Balor is more of a clearer picture.
I'm in. Sign me up.
You know I'm all
But
about it.
Balor is a clearer picture of where you progress, and you can map out probably the next 4 to 6 months of his booking. Cole is more of a question mark. That's very well put, because ultimately, definitely, if they decide to put it back on Cole, do we just think that he's just the feeder system for Cross when he comes back? Depending on how long Cross is out? Or do we see...
I honestly don't want to... I mean, I don't want to see Adam Cole in NXT anymore than the next 6 months.
Right.
I don't either, right? But
right.
Adam Cole... And Chrome, I get it, right? You can play different storylines in different ways, with Adam being the face and Johnny being the heel. I say that out loud. I have zero interest in that.
Oh, see, I disagree. I would love to
Cole
see
being
the
the face and
dynamic of
Gargano
that.
is the heel?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have a lot of
how do you get
that.
there? How do we get there to where that makes sense for me?
Listen, I mean, maybe you feel differently. I would think, from what I've observed, the majority of people look back at like Ziggler and Miz. How many times have we seen them flip face and heel? But how many times have people praised their programs when they've actually done something meaningful in the main roster? And we've seen it 15 times, and every time it's felt different. I could see this being the same thing. We've heard about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
I guess with the current state of WWE writing, and to Chrome your own admission, it's not the greatest in the world, right?
We're from that right now.
We're shooting from the hip week in and week out. With that in mind, I don't even want to see them go down the road, because I think they'll screw it up.
You're probably right.
You can have Gargano cost Cole the match next week, and that's right there. Somehow, some way, screw him over, and just go from there. But I mean, I wouldn't say I would not like to see it. I don't see there's nothing there. I mean, they're so good, especially Gargano surprised me with this heel turn and how he's made me a believer. And I just think Cole's baby Sean. That is to me, he's already there. He's baby Sean. In promos, he's so versatile. If he goes to the main roster right now, so be it. If he ends up on Raw, SmackDown, so be it. I just don't know. We've already kind of seen what they're doing with Keith Lee. Outside of what they're doing booking-wise, look-wise, music-wise, as it's there, it is what it is. And that's what a big dude who
tell me how you really feel.
Who can go probably a 60-minute Iron Man match. Imagine what they would try to do with Cole, and you just had Roman come back. To me personally, I don't think this is the right time for him to go up, because I don't know what they would do with him.
He would get lost in the shuffle with everything going on. Because on Raw, you just put Keith Lee in there, even though Randy's going to fight Drew at Clash. Sure, that makes a lot of sense.
A three-way.
I think it might still too, but sure.
Right.
But then on the other side, in the main event slot, you've got The Fiend, Roman, Braun, and that giant cluster of a mess. What did I say?
I'm saying, give me Adam Cole on SmackDown against
to do what?
Roman. Take my money. To have him to have an amazing program with Roman as Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece, and absolutely chop down Roman.
He could do that.
Over again with Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece.
So are we saying that the Fiend and Braun thing is going to continue without the title?
It doesn't need a title.
No, I don't think it should need the title. Let me be very, very clear. I'm getting your thought on it.
Yes, I would prefer that.
I would too.
I would agree.
I almost got destroyed. I almost got annihilated.
You give me Fiend, you give me Alexa that's looking all mesmerized, and then I don't know, maybe who Braun's female counterpart can be. but find
But Braun doesn't
somebody.
need a female counterpart in this.
Well,
I don't think. I
no.
think adding Alexa in is going to add a different
Well,
dimension.
you can step Nikki Cross back into that sanity role, working with Braun.
You could, because like Chrome, I think it was in our chat last night, or even the night before. It was on Payback, I think is when we talked about it, right? The whole Harleen Quinzel, and if you're a comic book fan, you know what I mean there. But where you start off as, the innocent one talking to the psychopath, and then you start transitioning into the psychopath yourself, right? To where we could see on Firefly Funhouse, when he's being creepy Mr. Rogers Bray, you get some equally creepy, messed up, innocent Alexa, but then when everything snaps, you have the Fiend and whatever Alexa's Harley looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me you hate that.
Me?
Yeah.
No, my mind is already visually thinking. Alexa has taken her whole shit to a whole nother level, man. Like, yeah, that whole finger twirl under the ponytail, and that.
Let me tell you something. I was doing a recorded reaction, which should be dropping in the next day or so. We're gonna try to drop it right before SmackDown, because we take the main event, which is a SmackDown thing, and we talk about it, right? I'm doing that with this man right here, and that comes on the screen, and I just hear, oh yes. Because he's ahead of me, so I have to be like, okay, that looks good. I can't spoil anything. And then he's like, yes. I was like, all right, so I know where you're at.
Yeah, so that's good. But I mean, overall, this is what we talked about. I feel like, and this speaks to your week-to-week booking thing. They make a move that we're only satisfied with if it comes after another move, or two has to come after that to justify the move that we saw in the present. You know what I mean?
So let's take that for a minute, right?
Okay.
And again, I'm doing great with these nerd analogies here, but we had Infinity War, and you had Endgame, and walking out of Endgame, everybody's like, where does the Marvel Cinematic Universe go from here? And we saw Spider-Man Homecoming, and how they started to lay the groundwork for what happens 5 years later, and when everybody comes back from the snap. When the next movie comes up, they have to keep that going, or everybody's going to turn on what they worked so hard for. Who's playing a slot machine game?
My sister.
Oh, okay. I heard it. I was like, ooh, somebody's winning. But it's all about continuity, right? And so you have to keep that momentum going. You have to keep all of that. And by the way, congratulate her for winning. It sounds like she was doing pretty well.
Oh, it was my dad, actually.
Was it real money?
Congratulate you too. Is it real money? Are we going to open up like a big tower or something?
It should be, but it's not.
I'm trying to retire early, damn it.
Man, I want to retire by 35.
Well, me and Chrome are past that point.
Yeah, I know. I got time.
Well, I'm there. I'm not past it.
Close enough. Yeah. But it's literally all about continuity, and it's all about. I'm okay to a very certain extent, because I watch a lot of these shows where you plant a seed here and it evolves over here, right? And so I've kind of trained my mind when I'm watching wrestling to go, okay, you know what? I'm going to give him a week. I'm going to give him 2 weeks tops, like this Paul Heyman Roman Reigns thing. You have to come in, and I've said it in this very ring, time and time again. When something happens next week, you better come out and start doing some explaining, right? Or I'm gonna start having an issue. I'm okay with some of these, trigger moments. Right? We said next week, you better come out and have the right guy win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what it really boils down to. I'm okay with us planting the seed. I'm okay with us watching it evolve if it evolves. Don't lay the groundwork like they're doing with this. A perfect example is the Alexa thing. We saw the slight change the next week after she got attacked, where she caressed the Fiend's face. And then she kind of went away. But now she's back. And we're getting little bits and pieces here and there. And we're slowly watching that evolve into whatever her final form is going to be.
Right.
Right? And so I'm okay with all of that. They need to do the same thing with this NXT title picture. Because for the longest time, the NXT title was it. Right? You had the Universal title, which everybody shat on. You had the world title, the WWE title, which they really weren't doing anything with because they were trying to build the Universal title. And that was an afterthought. So everybody turned to the NXT champion and said, you're my guy, right? You're the guy I'm watching. You're the guy putting on 5-star matches every month, every other month, or every 3 months, whatever it is. You're the guy with a compelling story. So do something. Yeah. But now here we are, and it's almost flip reverse, right? Everybody's main focus is on the Universal title in that picture. Because Roman's back.
Right, because who has it?
Still don't care about the WWE Championship, even though it's Drew.
Right.
But now we're looking at the NXT title, and it's like that meme with the stick. Do something. Hey, you, do something. Right? So, real quick, guys, I want to, very, very quickly, because we're not going to be on Saturday night because of AEW All Out. Chrome, you have Bushwhacker Luke on Thursday. So let's do very, very quickly our thoughts on Payback, the ending to that, because we won't get to talk about it for a while. And then just a quick thought on what happened last night, some little things that came out of Raw last night. Gargano loves your thought process there, Pete. And Edie Zahari says, hello, HUD Radio. How you doing? What you talking about? We're talking some wrestling.
Wrestling.
I'm on the air. Of course we're talking about wrestling. You think I can talk sports? No.
Me and Chrome are we're very diverse.
We are very diverse.
Hey, I try. I'm not comfortable enough to go on the air and talk about it.
That's okay.
So, Chrome, we'll start with you because you probably feel very, very strongly about certain things that happened at WWE Payback.
Yes, I do.
The floor is yours.
Where to start, boys? Where to start?
Oh, Lord. I don't know where this is going. It's nowhere good.
It's never good. He got comfy.
Well, so first of all, right call for the women's title match, tag title match. Absolutely the right call. Interesting dynamic between both of them. It's almost like if you piggyback off of what it looked like on Raw, it was almost like a female version of Kane and Daniel Bryan with the "I'm the tag team champion" stuff. So I found that to be interesting, which I'm fine with.
This is why me and you is here, bro. We haven't even talked about that shit. I said they are team hell no. Exactly, and I quote.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe from that. So I'm right with you, Pete. I'm right with you, Pete, on that. But taking it a step further, I think it was the right call. I think we're finally going to get to that point where we're going to start seeing the Sasha Bailey thing come to a head. Please.
Shut up, Ralph.
Ralphie. Nice Ralphie.
Ralph just wants to be
by the way, we've been an hour into this thing, and I haven't thanked Ralph for doing the special show back there. We got so caught up in the schmaz finish. Ralph, I appreciate it coming off that Flyers overtime victory and jumping right in here and producing with us. So thank you, Ralph.
Thank you, Ralph.
Keep going, bro.
But yeah, I'm just gonna get into the main event. That's I don't care about the rest of the card. Let's be honest, I don't. What an issue. There's no way. There's no possible way that you could mess up a Roman Reigns heel turn. I'm sorry. It's impossible.
Right.
And yet they still found a way. And there's the fan base out there, if you go in groups and stuff and you see what people are posting about, who, you have the excuse, and we use it sometimes in certain things of, it's wrestling. They can make anything happen. There's just some things I personally can't overlook. There's nothing in life that after it starts, we're allowed to sign a contract and just jump it.
Right.
It was so cheap to me. And I wanted this. You know, guys, I'm a Roman guy. This is not coming from somebody who dumps on Roman. I've been fighting people defending Roman. Fiery defending people in the chat. I had one of how many weeks ago, guys, did I go into a huge thing over Roman Reigns?
I think it was on my show, too.
It was a few weeks ago. It wasn't long ago. And I felt, you know, I enjoyed his face run. But if we're going to make a heel turn, he's on that level of if you were to ever do it with Cena or the Hogans, like the Austin heel turn at WrestleMania 17. Like, he's on that level. He's in that conversation in terms of the level of the face of the company, the merchandise that you earn being the face, and every other thing that was able to be argued against for it happening. If you're going to do it, you can only do it once time. You have to get it right. And to me, it was cheap. It was lazy. It was piss poorly done. And they set the table beautifully with the Paul Heyman thing coming out of SmackDown. It was beautifully set up. You did not need to do it that way. You didn't have to pull out this ridiculous, lazy, like we all predicted it. We all said he's just going to walk out later on and sign the contract. You know, you could have had the same effect without having him sign the contract in the aisleway.
Yeah.
It just.
I mean, you cut to Paul Heyman twice that night.
Yep.
And you can't. We talked about this, right? I messaged you guys. Clearly, you announce it's a triple threat match. Roman doesn't come out. They mentioned him one time in the first 8 minutes of the match. Clearly, they wanted him out of sight, out of mind, which is impossible to make him out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
And to me, it just telegraphed even more of exactly what was going to happen. And I hated it. I hated everything about it. It has left a sour taste in my mouth about the way that this is going. And he might have a successful heel run.
Right.
But the iconic moment when these guys do it is always that first moment when it really happens. And people argue, well, it was when Paul Heyman appeared.
I mean, that's what I would say.
I would disagree. It's underwhelming. It's just an appearance. You know, it's the moment was when he was going to step into the ring and make something happen, or something more than that. I mean, at least when Andre turned on Hogan, you know, they came out, they cut a promo face to face with the face, and he basically said, "This is what I'm doing." It was cheesy and predictable. It was predictable that they would do the most ridiculous and unrealistic thing. That's my issue. I hated it. I hated it. And he's got stupid teeth now, and it makes it even worse for me. I mean, to me, that's not good heat. That's cheap heat. That's terrible heat. So that's where I'm at with it. I hated it. Yeah.
And I agree.
Oh, and real quick, Pete, my last point, and I made this point to you guys, very clear to me. We talked about how do they make Payback right after SummerSlam. Very, very clear.
Oh, yes.
That Payback would have never been a thing had Roman not come back.
Yep.
I think that,
correct.
You know, why do you take the title off the Fiend? It's because the original plan for this 3-month program was to put the title on the Fiend and have him make a run. The moment they heard Roman's coming back, let's turn him heel and give him a title run. They're like, okay, but we're still going to follow through on the original plan through SummerSlam, but we're hitting the reset button the next week. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I do got to give him credit for following through, though.
Well, I mean,
it's Roman.
We always, but here's the thing, right? We always bitch about them not following through on things. They follow through on something, and we're still kind of bitching.
Golf clap.
Well, we're bitching because so for two things. I'm happy that Braun and Fiend are out of the title picture. They don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Want to see that advance. Fiend is an entity, right? Well, I talked about this on our chat on
I've never heard the word entity been used so many times in my life.
He gets kicked in the
he gets kicked in the dick.
and he goes down. He shouldn't even have.
Didn't I say that to you? I said that to you guys, right? Pete, we mentioned that.
Yeah, he's like, so he takes the 15 chair shots, the 14 curb stomps. He's about to get hit with the hammer, but he gets kicked in the dick and he disappears.
He's dead. Like, they actually murdered him. He was, like, actually literally dead.
Right. And to me, Roman coming back to be healed. Like you said, go back to before when they SummerSlam. You never see it coming. They were promoting that at beginning of August. So they knew Roman was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you never saw it coming. So this is my thing. And Chrome said it best. You only get one impression, right? When we talked about The Rock and Authority, Survivor Series 99, I believe it's Survivor Series 99, you have him come out, you have him hug Vince. Even though, I'll give it, WrestleMania X7, Stone Cold and Vince, we never got to see the end of that, but you got to see that on camera and tangible. To me, Roman
people
coming
still talk
back,
about that moment.
That was, we didn't see the end of that because that's when he blew his, when Triple H blew his quad out, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He blew his quad. So then you have Roman come back on SummerSlam, wreck everyone and leave. Exactly what Shirt does. Picks up the title. The only one who should even give a shit about the title, about the three of them, is him. Then you get rushed because this is what I would have done. You would not have seen Heyman until Payback. And you say, what is he doing here? Why is he here? Why does he have the contract? Then Roman comes out. He could have him sign it, smile at Heyman, do the same thing. Then you go, him showing up on SmackDown and you waiting to the end, that you shot your wad right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have, that should have been saved for Payback. Heyman coming out, and then you go into SmackDown with all these questions. And let's not say, I don't know where Roman's at. Yes, he's physically back. I don't know how comfortable he is, and I like the way they're somewhat protecting him. He hasn't even taken a. Did he sell
No, he hasn't
anything
been
on
touched.
Sunday? He hasn't been touched.
Which I'm okay with, right? I'm okay with them protecting him. And in a weird roundabout, I get what's going on in the world, kind of a thing.
Right.
I'm okay with him coming out towards the end of the match.
Oh,
had the contract have been signed Friday night, early on in the show, whatever the case may be, right? If you do the contract signing before the first bell, then this is a totally different conversation, right? In my eyes,
yeah.
Because I understand what's happening in the world. What's your look for? Is it the comment?
I'm reading the comment.
I haven't read it yet. I like the booking because we know Roman Reigns will be in the match, but doesn't know when he show it. He also has a contract in hand, just he doesn't sign it. That heel booking, I love it. Even you doesn't like.
It's not heel booking. It's stupid.
Also,
it's
the Fiend up there.
stupid.
What?
It should be insulting to your intelligence. Reading that is insulting to my intelligence right now, Edie, because common sense.
Chrome.
Like, let's be realistic here, man.
It's a lifestyle.
Where in life can you just show up after something starts and sign a deal? Oh, hey, I'm going to participate in this now. Once the match starts, once the bell rings,
yes,
that's it. This is what it is. The only exception. So essentially, Roman Reigns
had a Money in the Bank contract.
Only person had a Money in the Bank contract. That's exactly
without having a Money in the Bank contract.
Now, if they come out on Friday SmackDown and Heyman says, yes, we had the contract, and they address these things and say, yes, we understand that the bell rang prior to, explain this shit. I would have had it even if Roman came down with the contract, signed it, set, and then just bounce.
You can't explain it, Pete.
But that's what they fucked
but
Paul would
Paul would at least try.
He would try.
You can't.
And
I love Paul.
know, but this is where they back themselves in the corner. I'm shocked to this point. You talked about it. The Hogan heel turn didn't happen. It didn't happen in WWE or WWF. It happened in WCW. We've been wanting to see this for Cena, but Vince would never, ever, ever, ever do it because he wanted to risk. He wouldn't want to risk losing the merch. So to have your top face, who was here or not here? Okay, Roman being your top face and Vince giving the okay to do this when he's probably itching to do it for a couple of years, and Vince finally saying, "Okay, let's go heel." And I want them to stick with it because we talked about this. I said, now I need Roman to be the cheesiest fucking heel that he can be. Cut corners, kick people in the dick, poke people in the eyes, because that's what Hogan did. Because you're the face among all faces. You fought through leukemia. You fought through Brock Lesnar. You went through every fucking hurdle. And you said, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm tired of playing the game this way.
Leukemia, Brock Lesnar. That's where his thought process went. At least he didn't say Brock Lesnar leukemia.
Exactly. Brock Lesnar numerous times, numerous WrestleManias, main events. But when you do that and you say, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. I can't win like this. I'm going to take what's mine. It's my yard. How Paul Heyman is involved, that still could have been so far back pocket that you hold on to that. You know what I mean? So I don't know what they do. I don't know what to do. Payback, some decent shit. Even last night, some decent shit.
The wrestling, and we said this on the video that'll drop in the next couple of days. The wrestling on Payback was actually good wrestling. I didn't hate any of the matches. Some of the outcomes were shit.
To Edie's comment again. Bring up the weird heel comment.
The last one, Ralph.
Roman is a heel, and that's heel booking or heel doing.
That heel doing.
So by your characterization of heel booking, essentially, doesn't matter if it makes sense, doesn't matter if it insults your intelligence, doesn't matter how ridiculously stupid it is. Darn it, they're telling me he's a bad guy and he's doing bad things, so that's great heel booking. There's good heel booking. Yes, technically it's heel booking, right? Because he's supposed to be a bad guy and you're supposed to hate him. But anyone who has any sense, hey, Edie, do me a favor. Why don't you hop on one of our shows when we talk to some of these actual pro wrestlers like the Sid Viciouses of the world who have been on our programs and hear them talk about what's good heel booking and what's bad heel booking, buddy. Because there's a such thing. That is dog shit.
Thursday night with Luke.
And it could have been so much more. That's the problem.
Well, this is the problem is we have people like Edie who WWE doesn't have to set a high expectation because he's just going to eat up whatever they say. This is the classic case of we wanted to see Roman be a heel for years, and they finally gave it to us. Who cares that it was dog shit the way they did it? They gave it to us, so whatever. And WWE says, hey, man, this is what they want. Who cares if the quality's good? As long as we're going to sell some merch.
I wonder if I still have the picture. Yeah, I do. So there was something on Twitter.
Is worse.
Now, Brock booking. Are you kidding me? We got Beatbox Brock. Boombox Brock. Are you kidding me right now? I'm gonna go back and forth with this guy all night.
You are 100%. So there was a tweet that
you want to talk about a great heel who's booked the right way. That's you dropped another name in there, buddy. That's probably the best heel that any company has seen over the last 10 years in Brock Lesnar. Everybody hates him. Everyone hates him, but they still love him when you get Boombox Brock, or when you get him dancing during Brock. When you get him dancing in the middle of the Royal Rumble.
That was funny.
But he is easy to hate, but it's all done the right way. It's all done the right way. That's real booking, buddy. Not this dog shit.
Never. All right, moving on.
So, Monday Night Raw?
What's a heel? Bad guy, Ralph. Bad guy.
Faces are good guys, like baby faces, and heels are bad guys.
Yes.
Like the Joker's a heel. The Joker's a heel. Batman's a face.
Yeah.
Batman can be considered a tweener.
That's
Good
true.
point. Superman's a face. Fuck Superman.
Yeah.
Real
Did you
talk.
say fuck Superman?
It's a running gag between me and a buddy of mine. Sorry. It's like it's again. I have a Marvel reference that you wouldn't get either. Damn it. Never mind. We're just gonna keep moving on. Raw last night.
Isn't that the point of it? First of all, I don't even know if that makes sense. Destroy
Perfect Money in the Bank match.
Money in the Bank.
Saying Brock. So I
there
think
is no money.
I speak
There is.
Edie.
There
I
is. All right,
speak
that's fine. I know what he's saying. I'm just being.
Okay.
I'm being a dick
Heel?
because it makes no sense. Sorry, still got a little bit of a cough because it makes no sense. And sometimes I am that guy, but
sometimes.
what is a perfect Money in the Bank match? What is a perfect Money in the Bank match? I'm just curious. I'm enjoying hearing his logic on things.
Thank
so
you,
I would
Ralph.
like to understand what the logic is.
So while we wait for the
follow up
logic,
for me with that, Edie.
while we wait for Edie's logic, which this should be entertaining, Raw last night, we saw the split up of the Iconics. For 5.5 years, the Iconics were a tag team that ran rough. I won't say ran roughshod, but they were all over the tag team division in NXT and on. I mean, they were tag team champions for God's sakes, right?
The second ever tag team champions.
Second ever tag team champions. Where do you go from
Pretty big
here with
WrestleMania
that?
moment too, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you go from here with that? What's your next play? You know, we kind of saw a hint of Peyton throwing Billy to the Wolves at Raw Underground, which, by the way, Billy got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. You know what, though, guys? I want you to think back of the programming. Kind of since they've come back, there has been seeds planted of a little bit of dissension. I think we were surprised by how abrupt it was done last night.
Right.
But when I had the time to sit back and think, I'm like, you know, there was times where in their promos and different things where you were seeing the seams starting to bust a little bit.
But
so
even go further back, right? Go back. There's a fatal 4-way match that stands out in my mind. It was Peyton Royce. Oh God, now I'm going to blank on who was in that match. But it was at a takeover, and it was for the NXT Women's title. I think it was Peyton Royce. I think it was Asuka. I think Bayley was in that match, and Nikki Cross. I think we're the 4 people, because I remember Nikki Cross.
I think you're right.
Going off of something through the announce table on the Peyton. I think that was the 4. Peyton's always been the breakout solo star of this, right? So I could see Peyton going off and doing big things. I think Billy's going to kind of flounder for a little until she can find out who she is, because she's never had those opportunities. I mean, let's be honest. Last night, getting knocked the fuck out was one of the more bigger singles things that she's done.
I agree if you're just looking at it on the surface of what we've seen so far.
Right. I think
actually
you do more.
Right. I actually think there's a very, I want to say I'm 60-40, 60 Peyton's a bigger star ultimately, but I give a strong percentage. We don't know. See, kind of Peyton, she was a kind of leader of the Iconics. We kind of seen it. So she's kind of giving us somewhat of a standard. With Billy, you have no fucking clue what's about to happen. What you have no expectations for what she is outside of her own. Outside of the dumb shit where they may 1 week Peyton Royce may fight Ruby Riott, and the next week Billy Kay's going on one-on-one with Liv Morgan. That type of shit. So it's a single matches, but it's still centered around a team-oriented program. Ultimately, hopefully we get Billy versus Peyton, and then we can go from there, because I really want to see these girls. I want to see if they can work. I mean, all the matches that they've had, they kind of worked at WrestleMania that a little bit, but as a single wrestler, I want them to be given time to see what they can do in the ring, to see where they're at, because they both can talk. That's the thing. Like, they can cut promos, and
they're
some of the male superstars.
I'm fans. I'm fans of them both. I think Billy. I mean, I think Peyton is the bigger star because she's been given more opportunity. That's what it really just goes down to.
Right.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, that's kind of. I was just agreeing with Andy that we see that with Peyton because she's been one given opportunity. If you look at what, I mean, Billy's overall is she's a bigger in stature. She's taller in stature. We just need to see it, and she kind of reminds me of someone who can work and doesn't need to do a lot in the ring because just to her frame and her size and how she works. very slow, very methodical, can speed up when she needs to. But I'm very interested to see what we get and how fast we get there. And if we talk about, I just thought about this actually. When we talking about with NXT and how
You'll still have the
you'll still
Instagram
have
post. Calm down.
but we talked about NXT how they're elevating these non-title oriented woman storylines. Obviously, we have Sasha and Bayley eventually when they get to it, but now you have another one with with the Iconics. So I'm happy to see that because I definitely do think that we need to start seeing more women's programs that because they don't. I don't want them to create another titles for this shit. I just want them to create compelling stories, and we kind of had that built in already with the Iconics.
Yeah, Pete, you're 100% right.
You know, I wanted to kind of just add something, and I think I mentioned this the other day, Andy. If I didn't, I meant to mention it to you. But you made the point of, you know, how are they going to break up their one legitimate tag team? Well, there's a couple of things here that a couple layers I'd like to peel back, and one is it's WWE. Look at what they do with the men's roster. Look what they do with the men's tag team titles for the most part. They throw them on people who have no program. So,
no, you made this point.
Are we shocked at the women that happened with the women? No. And again, on the plus side, you know, their singles roster. It's not AEW bad, but it's not great. I mean, the top names are phenomenal, but their women's mid card is not super impressive. Right. So I think at some point, the cream needs to start to rise to the top. You need to start seeing what some of these women can
Macho
do
Man.
And find. Hey, I got my sneaks coming tomorrow, by the way.
Oh God.
But wait till you see the shirt I'm going to be wearing for the Bushwhacker Luke interview.
Oh crap.
But yeah, at some point the cream does need to rise to the top, guys, and you need to start seeing what you have outside of these main top women. And if that means, because right now they're thin, so unless they're going to pull from NXT, which it looks like they have with maybe at least 2 or 3 women for Retribution, although I'm not ruling out that 1 or 2 main roster women might be a part of that because there's multiple women.
Which, by the way, Retribution will be solo to Raw now. There's an article that came out this morning that says don't be surprised if you don't see Retribution on NXT or SmackDown anymore. It'll be solo to Raw.
Did we ever see it on NXT? I don't recall ever seeing it on NXT.
I thought the first week they showed up on NXT. No, wasn't that them that it was on NXT where they blew out the power?
They blew out the Transformer? Power. They were doing the shit behind the scenes.
That was they weren't the Molotov cocktail?
No. That was Raw too.
Okay, so then all right, you won't see them on SmackDown anymore.
Which again is more of a giveaway of why it's pretty clear that a lot of them are NXT. But at some point, you need to find new avenues to find new stars, guys. And at least if they can hit on one of them, that's another potential opportunity there. But we're trotting Lana out there again, guys. We're trotting Lana. I mean, Mickey's back, which I think is really helpful. But for whatever reason, probably because of her age, they're just not going to, they have her in a somewhat meaningful program now, but it's short-lived. It's an enhancement. So, I'm done with Natty. I don't know about you guys. I've seen enough at this point.
I think it's time for Natty to move on. I was a Natty fan. I was a Natty fan for a very long time.
To me, it's time to either step away and trade, or maybe, honestly, AEW might be a good place for her. Nah. She could help them out. You don't like AEW, but she could help them. She could help them a lot. She could help that women's division a lot and help some of those women who need it a lot in terms of their in-ring work. But, I digress with that. There's not a lot of women there. The Naomi thing, she's a very athletic woman. I think the glow stuff is worn out. They dropped the ball with Lacey. Big time to me.
They obliterated the ball.
Should have never turned her back to a heel. It makes no sense. But they dropped the ball with her. And, who's out there? Who's out there for them? Zelina, she's not a great worker. Tamina, like
It was a joke. It was a joke. I swear to God, it was a joke.
You're right though. That's another name that's out there. It pads the point, boys.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I did like.
Not deep as deep. They have quantity, and they have better quality than AEW. Like Lana might be a world champion in AEW.
Ooh.
But that being said, I'm just saying, with some of the things we see in there, she might be a world champion. But that being said,
there's two names that I could say that could potentially be main event stars. One I already think is there because she's worked as a single wrestler already, and that's Bianca Belair. I mean,
you're right.
They just have to do it. They don't believe in Shayna. Nia can't work safely. I mean, so the only other one out of ones that aren't already at that point, I would say I have to say Peyton. Dana Brooke she's too wild. Like she's just all over the place.
And you know it's a shame. She's gotten better.
She's gotten so much better.
If I could take her in-ring work now and go back to when she first came up and she was with Charlotte, and if you can remember, and that's with crowds where you could hear her, pestering her opponent, talking shit to them. It was so. I thought her verbal work in the ring was phenomenal as a heel. If I could get that with the in-ring work now, at worst she could be a mid-card.
Yeah.
In a meaningful program. But they don't. They have her doing these goofy things, which, the stuff she did at Money in the Bank, pulling the briefcase out of the boardroom. Oh, it was great. It's good in small doses. But this just, hey, how are you? I just wanted to, see how you're doing. I'm really sorry to hear it. Smack. And then, that's all you hear from her.
I think with that, though, it's out of everybody they had available, I think that's the one person where it makes sense to go up and be like, hey, because you see a lot of Sonya.
Why with her does it make sense? Because she's not important.
Well, but you also, and I'd have to go back and double check, but there was a point where you were seeing a lot of Dana Brooke on Sonya's social media for a while there, like pictures and things like that. So
they all live in Florida.
I know.
They all.
Joey DiBardino goes, Billy Kay could develop somewhere between a Sonya Deville and Rhea Ripley character. I don't hate that idea.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
I don't hate it. It's not good, but I don't hate it.
I like Billy a lot. I think Billy is very underrated. Very, very underrated.
Very underrated.
And I don't think what we saw this week did her any favors moving forward.
No, but
especially not from who we saw it from.
No. Which, by the way, Titus O'Neil in Raw Underground, I loved it.
I love the beginning of it. Why Riddick Moss? Who is Riddick Moss? What is with this stuff?
Where's Ryan when you need him? He brought up Riddick Moss the other day. I think he jumped in the video.
Yes, he did.
And brought up Riddick Moss. He jumped in at one point because we dropped the link in the chat, and so Ryan jumps in randomly at one point and brings up Riddick Moss. So that it's just hysterical that he was on Raw. I love.
No, that was on your show. That was on your show.
Was it on my show?
Because I was in the chat and I commented in the chat and I told him, I said he's on Raw Underground. He's like, "Thanks, guys."
Oh, that's right. But during the Retribution attack, I love it when they cut to Zelina and she's got the three women in front of her and she's looking.
Restoration?
Huh?
Oh, you guys missed that punchline?
No, I got it.
I missed
Demi Burnett calling it cut when her and Garza were running in backstage.
Oh, I didn't watch that clip.
I was like, "Oh, I want to protect you," and she said something like about restoration. She called them restoration.
Oh,
so
I missed.
Why is she? What are her ties to the show?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Missed.
I'm a Bachelor guy. I watch The Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise and all that good stuff. All that great programming, by the way. I thought it was like a one-off or maybe a two-off. Like, is she under contract? Is she going to be a valet?
Don't know.
By the
But
way,
no,
if he's going to be a valet, I'm not opposed to that. I do miss the art of a true manager and a true valet, like Lana should be.
Yes.
like Zelina kind of is.
Zelina can work a little bit, though.
Right, but she kind of, that's why I said she kind of is. But to that point of first working, they
Great
cut to
her this week.
They cut to Zelina, and she's just like, she's looking around, she's like, and just
Loved
starts
it.
throwing hands.
Loved it.
But then they cut away immediately. It was like, no, go back.
That was so good, though. But they did go back and show the full clip of her.
See, I missed Raw because of Closeout, because it was the end of the month. So
let's talk about Restoration real quick, okay? I'm going to be calling them that.
And you mentioned, I want you bring up what you said in the chat, because what you said in the chat was very on point.
So here's
go ahead.
Consistency, okay? This is this renegade group, right? Who comes out, and what happens? They come out, and you see like Corey and Tom Phillips diving over the barricade to get away, right? It's the first thing you see. They come back from like, and you hear nothing, and they're doing all these little trick camera shots and shaking the cameras. It's not the steady focus. They come back from break, and they're like, "Hey, check out this Saturday, yada yada yada," whatever it is. They're promoting something, like talking like nothing ever happened.
Right.
Like 3.5 minutes before then, and then they're like, "Oh, if you're just tuning in, we're just getting settled in. Let's show you what just happened moments ago with Retribution. I'm going to make it a thing. I'm going to make people continue to call them Restoration. They're making WWE change the name to Restoration now.
Oh, God.
But hey, and they decided to come out and check things out. And I said to you guys in the chat, I'm like, consistency. You have how many commercial breaks? And how many times do they come back from a commercial break and go right into a match, right? Like you see, the jobber entrance, someone standing in the ring or whatever, the Humberto entrance. And then they go into it. How many commercial breaks do you have where you could have scheduled to do that promotion at another time? Mm-hmm. You choose the most important segment, in my opinion, to really continue the mood that was set, to just totally just, hey guys, check this out. Hey, yeah. And then come back and be like, hey, a few minutes ago we saw this. And then it's like, oh, now we're going to, that's right. Oh shit, we're supposed to be doing this. Let's go back into this. I hated it. It killed it. I actually liked the attack this week. I'm hit and miss with them. It was really good the way they did it this week. I liked the camera, and it killed it for me when they came back from that.
They should have been looking over their shoulder, like asking, yes, or did they leave? Confirm? Can we confirm that Retribution left? Can we confirm Restoration left? Are they no longer on premises? And then once they came back out, when Demi and Angel walking, they should have cut in like, they're still here. There's like Pete, something.
Pete, we saw it. Andy, you're a little young for this, but I know you know about it. Do you remember watching WCW Nitro when Hall and Nash first started showing up and the NWO first started forming? How amazing.
When they lawn darted Ray?
Even before then, Andy.
Before all that.
Like,
before they got physical.
When you would have Tony Schiavone there. How great was Heenan? I think it was, what paper? It was, it might have been Bash at the Beach. Or
yes.
It was one of them where Heenan is there and the match is getting ready to start. And Heenan, he's like, where are they at? Because they were coming through the crowd and you didn't know. And he's like, somebody better tell me where they're at or I'm leaving. Like, that's the stuff they used to do. They sold the concern. Heenan, Schiavone, Bishop. No, Sabisco was always the I'm going to stand tall against these punks. But he always maintained the character. He didn't go, hey, guys, by the way, check out Andersonville. Part 7 of Andersonville is coming up next. Oh, my God, the NWO. Let's get back to what they just did. Like, no, they kept that mood.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Right. So true. And it was just like he would always be like, why are they here? Why are they here? What are the reasons that they're here? They're not asking these questions. Like they're just, okay, they're here, they sticking, they moving, and they're going. It's like it never happened.
And then we just go, we're good, we're back to normal. And then they act dumb sometimes when the lights are flickering. What's going on? You know what's going on, man.
Come on. It's not the Undertaker, that's for damn sure.
To me,
There you go.
with Restoration, they at one point they need to attack Raw Underground. How they make it work?
I would like that.
So, like, I jumped on Twitter at one point and saw that, I guess something happened between the Hurt Business and Cedric Alexander and Ricochet or whatever. I'm still getting caught up on Raw. In Raw Underground. At first, I thought that's what Retribution had done, is that they'd shown up there.
Listen.
No.
I mean, I know we had fun with the Titus thing. Is it safe to say, guys, that Raw Underground is a massive failure and we're done and over with it?
The best part about it is the fucking bodyguard. I don't know who that son bitch.
I agree.
Who that son bitch is.
What happened to the?
That's
all the way back to the
money.
very first Raw Underground. Where was that big bastard that they tried promoting and whatnot? I haven't seen him since.
Oh, you talking about Babatunde?
Babatunde.
Yeah. Where the fuck has he been?
Yo, let me tell you about Babatunde. When I went to Evolve 10, and you can catch it on the WWE Network, there's a spot. I forget whose kid he wrestled. It was somebody's kid. But he does a spot where he lifts him up and puts him on the ring apron. And I'm talking, dude, I was like second row. You could see me a lot on the broadcast, actually. He took his big-ass hand, and I'm talking, he chopped this dude. I have never heard anything like that in my entire life. The pain, it actually hurt me to watch. Babatunde is a badass dude. And I agree with you. I wouldn't surprise me if somehow he pops up with Retribution or Restoration.
That's a big bastard to hide, though.
They got some big bastards that they're trying so-called hide.
No, but this is a big homie that you're trying to hide.
Well, here's what I'm doing, guys. Book with me here.
Okay.
The reason I asked that Raw Underground's a massive failure, bear with me. I think I have a solution to how we can get rid of it. Okay, let's
blow it up.
First of all, I'm pretty confident that Dio Madden is also a part of it. Retribution. And I am, if you remember, he got destroyed in there. So I would love, to your point, have them come in there and just dismantle the whole underground.
So it's everybody that's trashed.
Destroy it. Take out the bodyguard. Take out Shane, and we can get Shane off of TV again.
So it goes back to my first comment. Blow it up.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. Have them completely just destroy the whole underground. Hey, we're shutting your shit down, and then never see it again.
Yep, I'm down with it.
I love it.
I'm down with it.
Because
right now, all it is a tool for the Hurt Business. That's all it is.
That's what we designed it for. We designed it for Dolph Ziggler and the Hurt Business, and maybe Ivar,
and Riddick Moss.
Fuck Riddick Moss. All right, gentlemen, we are going to get out of here. This was only supposed to be like an hour top show.
Quick shout out, real quick. I don't know if you mentioned at the top of the show, but mention it now. You know, obviously, first of all, follow A2D on everything. All the social media platforms. I'll let you run that through. I'll let you run through all the social media platforms.
Thank you.
But particularly for the wrestling sector of A2D, and first of all, our main group, sports group that we're in, please go in, find the A2D Real Talk group. We want you guys to get in there. Lots of great content in there. Lots of deeper conversation. Even some stuff we're not able to put on the air. We're very interactive in there. Get in there, have fun with us. But in terms of the wrestling, we're happy to, announce as of today, we are partnering here in the local area, the Philadelphia area, with a wrestling group called Ultimate Wrestling Fanatics, ran by Matt Milcarrick, Jeff Warner, Bobby Goodwin, a couple good guys. I used to be an admin of the group years ago.
You are again.
But I am now an admin again. But, Ultimate Wrestling Fanatics, A2D partnership there to where we're going to be working with them, sharing wrestling specific content, which we don't see as much on the main page. Me and Andy run a lot of that, so you're going to see a lot of our content in there, our shows, different things. as well as all the other great conversation in there. So get in there. We want you to join that too. 2 groups I want you to join: A2D Real Talk and Ultimate Wrestling Fanatics, guys. Check it out. Get in there. You'll have a lot of conversation with us specifically. I know, Pete, you're in that group, I think, too.
Yep.
To where we talk a lot of wrestling, a lot of shopping there. So we're really thrilled about it. We'll do some exciting things with them, and continue to grow the wrestling part of A2D. Continue to expand the fam and get the brand out there as many eyes as we can. So shout out to them for opening the doors and welcoming us. We're looking forward to partnering with them.
So on the heels of that, guys, like Chrome said, make sure you guys are following Ultimate Wrestling Fanatics on Facebook. You join the group. You also join the HUD Radio Real Sports Talk group as well. You're following the main page. If you're not, what are you been waiting for? Also follow Lazy Bookings page and In This Very Ring show page, where we post all of our content all throughout the week, God willing. But if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, even Twitch. That's right, people. We're on Twitch too. Guys, make sure you do that. If you missed any of our shows, if you missed the Flyers reaction show that happened earlier, you missed this one, you can check them out tomorrow on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Speaker, Spotify, and anywhere where you get your podcasting resources. Listening to the car on the way to work. It's a lot of fun. Tomorrow night, Fix in the PM goes live. They're going to recap Sixers, probably a little Flyers, get ready for football season. On Thursday, we're going to have Game 6 live reactions at some point when puck drops, right?
Yes.
So that's good. Yeah, it's going to be – we're waiting for them to announce the game time. Fingers crossed, we're hoping for an 8 o'clock start time or a 7 o'clock start time like we had tonight. Because so for you guys who are hockey fans, when we're going to do these, we're not going to do the entire show or the entire game. We basically hop on during the second intermission, kind of preview the third period and go through it. That's what we did tonight. We had a lot of fun, a lot of engagement. But it would also be ideal because we do have Bushwhacker Luke.
Just about to ask about that.
We have Bushwhacker Luke. He's going to be joining us at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Lazy Booking, myself and Maddie. Unfortunately, Andy can't join. That sucks, man.
Someone's got to make money in this group.
And I think Pete can't either. So it's going to
Nope. Unfortunately.
Dummies. But it's going to be a
my
good
bad
time.
For working.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're a dummy. But we're going to have a great time with him. And that's an hour-long interview. So we'll have him from 7 to 8 p.m. We're going to talk anything. And again, you guys want to drop comments in? This is where our posts on our show pages come in. This is where anything that we drop in the Real Talk group relating to it or in the Ultimate Wrestling Fanatics, you guys, we're going to be going back over those posts and reading over it. If you drop a question you want me to ask Luke, I will be happy to pull it from there. You'll get your name read. We'll let them know that it's a question from you. So please do that. But yeah, so ideally, we're hoping so we can have him and then probably hop off about 8:15, 8:30, and those guys can get ready to go on about 10 of 9 o'clock, pretty much. And I'll be doing double duty because I'll be hopping on that again as well.
Friday night, Jake and Jimmy are back with On the Road to Victory. Saturday is going to be Kicking It Stateside and the weekly roundup. No In This Very Ring because of AEW All Out. I will not.
You had it tonight.
Yeah, that's why we did it tonight. That's why we're here right now. And then Sunday, the flagship show, Agree to Disagree, will be back. Sports Hounds on Monday. And because it's now Facebook official, we want to give a special shout out to your co-host, Chucks, and his wife Mary for having their baby. I love the name. If you guys don't know the name, it's Grayson Westbrook Moranin. Grayson because of Batman. I love it. It's the best thing ever.
Listen, it's a beautiful name. I'm very happy.
Yes.
Mom's healthy, baby's healthy. Most important things. I kind of liked, Chromiak, or I liked Chrome Westbrook Moranin, or Michael.
We're not
Westbrook
naming this
Moranin,
kid after a crumb.
Or Wesley. Westbrook
like.
Moranin would have been a lot better, But we'll take.
He's
Grayson.
not naming his kid after a crumb that he argues with week in and week out.
Oh, he's been arguing with me since we were 17 years old. We're good.
Like I said,
For myself
So
and Pete, because me and Pete,
Right.
this is our normal night, Pete, that we do a
This
show
is our normal
together.
night.
Right. So are you
We
guys
took-
going to be back with Birds of a Feather next week?
So we will. We took the show off
Okay.
this week to
Mhm.
replenish. We our hosting panel is going to look a little bit different. One man down.
Yep.
Kevin's no longer with the show, so we'll just throw that out there now, and we'll talk about that next week. But
Yep.
Kevin's no longer with the show, so it's myself, Pete, and Chucks. We will be back next week, and we will be doing our season preview, considering that we will be ramping up the season. So just made sense to take the week off. It was just me and Pete. You
Yeah.
had the wrestling stuff going tonight. We had the Flyers thing. There was no
And I am grateful for you guys giving me your time slot this evening.
Listen,
But
what
Pete-
we're gonna do? Talk about Leonard. We're gonna talk about Leonard Fournette getting cut. We're gonna talk about that for 2 hours, Pete. I'm good.
No.
Pete,
I think I've had
what
my
is-
fill of it already.
What is this?
It's my title, sir.
It is your title because
Nope.
that's
Nope. You got to fill out a ballot, dude. You could do everything you want
It was
on here.
it was
Believe
on
me,
camera.
because it does. Oh, well, you know what? That doesn't count because for the first year he was running it, I told him, why do I need to do a ballot? I'd give you mine on camera all the time. And he told me it's not official if you don't do a ballot. So, hey,
Well,
buddy.
that was 2018.
so wait.
I don't know
So
what
wait,
it says
do
on
I have to vacate this and we do an Iron Man match next week?
Yes, absolutely. That title is
Oh my
vacated.
god!
Who
First
finished
time
second?
ever.
Did you look at who finished second?
ITBR vacated.
You did, sir.
Vacated.
Oh, there it
title.
is.
What do you say?
So technically I finished first then. So I'm the real champion, buddy. You're Sami Zayn. You're Sami Zayn trying to run in here.
This is gonna be
Bro,
great.
you walked away.
So that
You
that
walked
sets
away.
it up. So the next one. So Clash of Champions is on.
Clash
So
of
here's
Champions.
what-
It will be the Clash of Champions.
So listen, you know what we're gonna do here? First of all, I think we should both get recognition for this. But secondly, here's what we're gonna do, Andy. You're gonna crown a new champ. Are you doing a full one for Clash of Champions, or is
Yes.
this just me and Pete?
I'm
Okay.
gonna do a full one for Clash of Champions.
So what we're gonna do though, we're gonna have a secondary one, Pete. Let's
Okay.
put a bet out there. Let's come up with some stakes, and then me and Pete's own ballots will be in the regular thing. And Pete, you better fill one out because if you don't, you lose. We ain't Roman Reigns. You don't walk in the middle of it and just sign a contract.
I can't wreck everyone and leave.
No, it doesn't work that way,
Can
buddy.
I get new teeth? Can I get? I just need I need one new tooth. Just one tooth.
Oh, Andy, shut up.
So Andy, so it's technically still vacant. Me and you are going to have our own personal battle to see who gets recognized as the champion from this one.
Okay.
And
I cannot wait for this.
in our chat, we'll come up with stakes, and the loser we'll come up with a punishment, like freaking Impractical
cannot
Jokers.
Wait for this, and I'm not
Fair
even
enough.
involved. This is
Fair enough.
fantastic. I'm all in
right.
for this.
You know what? We can't shake hands, so I'll give you one of these, and that's my handshake right there. Done.
Awesome. All right, guys, we will see you not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. But make sure you guys check out Bushwhacker Luke on Lazy Booking this Thursday night and all our other great content here at HUD Radio. For Heel Chrome, for the FWOOG, I'm Ritz. We thank Ralphie for sticking with us all night long, and we will see you guys on the other side. Peace!